Guys, Hand That Rocks the Cradle. How many of you have seen the original Hand That Rocks the Cradle? Oh man. Before we watch the trailer, okay, let me just share my story of the original. And I can tie this into the military because everybody remembers the last movie that they watched before an important event, right? Like maybe if some of you are married in there, okay? Can you remember the last movie you watched before you got married? Then maybe the night before you got married, or maybe even the day you got married before you walked down the aisle. I'm sure a lot of you, if you got in a church, you probably didn't watch any movies that day. But this was the movie I watched the night before I went to basic training. 1992, January of 1992. That's why I'll always have a special soft spot in my heart for the original Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And thank God it was like an awesome movie. That movie blew me away, and I needed that little boost. Let me say thank you. Shad, thank you so much, man. That's really, really nice of you. I appreciate that. Ashley, how are you doing? Shad, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, man, you give me $10. I want to talk about something for you. I can tell you how beautiful you are. Yeah, Holly, the original is a freaking all-time classic. Was Sharon Stone ever considered for the evil woman role? You know what? She would have been a good pick, but I don't think anybody could ever top Rebecca De Mornay. Rebecca De Mornay owned that role, and I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. As much as I love Maika Monroe, she ain't touching Rebecca De Mornay. It just ain't happening. All right, I'd like her to prove me wrong, but she's not. That's top freaking tier. Do you guys agree? Okay, so yeah, that was the movie I saw before, and it just blew my freaking mind. I loved her performance. The movie was edgy too, you know, especially like in the opening scene when you have Annabella Sciorra going to the doctor to have a checkup on her pregnancy, and the doctor violates her. It's some pretty racy stuff back then, some pretty heavy stuff. And then, you know, it's a movie that just never lets up, but it's subtle, you know, it's not like a loud movie that's just constantly in your face. Everything's kind of under the current. That's the beauty of Hand That Rocks the Cradle. You always feel this feeling of unease as you're watching it. You don't trust her whatsoever. You know, she's dangerous. And those are the best villains, the ones that use their mind and they're manipulative. I even say, like, I think women make the best villains in movies when done properly, because they also have that seduction factor that they can use. You know, there's a few different aspects of women that I think trumps men in as far as, you know, we're men. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Max Cady from Cape Fear, Robert De Niro. That's an amazing freaking villain, and there's tons of them. But if you can really nail a female villain, they don't always nail it. Don't get me wrong, especially these days. A lot of times these days they drop the ball. Right? Subtlety. That's what you got to do, right, Rick? Rick Michaels, how you doing, brother? Yeah. All right, let's watch this trailer. Have you guys seen the trailer? Yes or no? Let me know.
Hi, we're considering hiring Pauline Murphy as a nanny, and I was curious about your experience with her.
She's amazing. Really became a part of our family.
Yeah, there's the seduction factor.
What do you know about her, besides what she's told you?
You're wearing my dress.
Yeah.
You don't see what's been happening. They go into her room. They're in there for hours.
You're struggling again.
Is there something wrong with my mom? She's sad. Doesn't like herself. Your mom's pretending to be someone else. Who is she?
know you're their friend. But this feels like my house now.
Emergency. Emergency.
You're my favorite. I'm going with her! What I want is for you to rot in hell. You think if you try hard enough, you can stop bad things from happening. But you can't.
It does look like pretty much they're following the same beats of the original. I didn't see too many. I was actively looking for differences in there. If you guys noticed any, let me know. But I wasn't seeing any. And I like that Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in this. I like that Maika Monroe. I like the cast. I think it's a great cast for today. But yeah, I think it's also movies at that time frame in the early 90s. They just looked different. Of course, you have a different crop of actors back then, and I just feel like I don't know. There was more of like an organic quality to the act. Like it was more believable. And don't get me wrong, Maika Monroe's really, really great actress, as well as Mary Elizabeth Winstead. But can they break through that barrier of them watching acting or this? Like when I watched the original, Rebecca De Mornay felt real to me. Like I was afraid when I was watching her. I was yelling at the screen. Davey, what's up, brother? I was yelling at the screen. Get away from her. Don't trust her. I felt like I wanted to protect everybody that was in her vicinity. I'm hoping that this movie gives me that vibe. It looks like a Hulu movie. It's coming to Hulu too. You notice that guy? And it looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's got that digital look to it. That's another thing I really miss about those 90s obsession thrillers that were shot on 35 millimeter. There was just so much more depth to them, like literally. But don't get me wrong, this looks great. I'll be there. I'm a big fan of this property. I'll be there day one. So we got the little kid, get the little baby. There's and then yes, she's being seductive to the dad. That's in the original. They didn't really showcase the, which they probably wouldn't in the trailer, but they didn't really showcase the husband that she had. If you've seen the original, he takes his own life because, like I was talking about earlier, there's a violation of the mother, Annabella Sciorra. And oh yeah, swim fan's a really good one. And so it becomes publicized, highly publicized, and then he takes his own life. And so it's a revenge story. And I'm sorry that I said that, because that's probably something that they're gonna reveal like in the last act of this movie. When they start, who is this person that's causing all this damage in at the beginning of Act 3, and then they start, digging into her past, because that's what they did in the original. So, Destiny, you got to see Swim Fan. Oh my God. Wild Things, another great one. What happened to the effective, like, guys, what happened to the obsession thriller? Yes, they do make them these days, but they're bad. There's something, I don't know, there's something off about them. Could this be a return to the effective obsession thriller? Maybe it could. It looks like the acting's really good in it. It looks like Maika Monroe's really giving it her all. I think when you get a part like this, when you know how beloved the original is, you don't want to fuck this up, right? You don't want to fuck this up. I'm looking for some clues in here that maybe I missed in the trailer. And it's pretty much the same, in the original, she wears her clothes. So, let me ask you guys this that have seen the original. Would you prefer them to put a new twist on this? Or do you kind of want them to stay in the lane, right? Not to say that you have to psycho this bitch and copy every frame, but just kind of, stay the same, the same beats, I guess, plot beats. Do you want them to do that, or do you want them to like really kind of throw a curveball somewhere along the way? I'm kind of half and half on that, you know, because if you do that, like, you don't want to do it like they did in like Pet Sematary, the Pet Sematary remake. I hated that they spoiled that in the trailer. I remember it was a big freaking to-do when they spoiled that twist in the trailer, because I thought this could be interesting to swap Gage with the little girl. But I'll never know what my true feeling of that was, because I already knew it when I went to go see it in theater. And I do that can ruin your experience. And guys, how many times have we seen this in movies? Somebody they're cutting carrots, they're cutting meat, they're cutting something, and then they cut their finger. I mean, it's just like, it's like the what do you call it, the starter pack, right? The obsession movie starter pack, or the thriller starter pack. They got to put somebody cutting on a cutting board, and they're either might cut their finger off or they cut themselves. They do it in every freaking one of these thrillers.